The costs of this war were equivalent to $725 million per day. These costs were more than $845 billion for the United States government and $9 billion for England. Do you know that the formation of ISIS was one of the results of the US-Iraq War? According to Opinion Research Business Statistics, the number of Iraqi victims on the latest 2007 is 1,030,000 people. According to the statistics of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, 4.4 million Iraqis have been displaced by the end of 2015. During the war, the Iraqi Christian population decreased from 1.5 million in 2007 to 500 in 2015. The Iraq War, also known as the Iraq Invasion and Iraq Liberation Operations, was a military operation that began on March 20, 2003, with the United States and Britain invading Iraq. The main forces attacking Iraq included the armies of the United States of America, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and Poland, but 29 other countries, including Japan, South Korea, Italy, Spain, etc., by sending part of their military and logistic forces to accompany the coalition forces. Are in occupation Iraq played a role. Also, some contractor companies for the provision of military and security forces by sending tens of thousands of their forces who had the citizenship of different countries were responsible for the security of large parts of important business centers in Iraq, including wells and oil refining centers. The war officially ended with the withdrawal of the last American Combat Brigade on August 19, 2010. Even after that, about 50,000 American troops remained in this country mainly to train Iraqi soldiers. At that time, the withdrawal of these forces was announced by the end of 2011 with the agreement of the two countries. The departure of the last American soldiers for this country happened in December 2011. Two major justifications for the start of this war were raised by George Bush, the President of the United States at that time, one of which was Saddam Hussein's relationship with Al-Qaeda, and the other was to destroy Iraq's weapons of mass destruction according to the 1991 agreement. After accepting Iraq's order, the operation order was issued to the coalition armed forces. In 2003, from the American point of view, Saddam was still considered a threat to Western allies, such as the oil-rich country of Saudi Arabia and Israel, a threat to Persian Gulf oil shipments and the stability of the Middle East. US President Bill Clinton, who succeeded his father George W. Bush, imposed new economic sanctions along with military sanctions against Iraq and also controlled a no-fly zone. In 1998, Clinton signed the Iraq Liberation Bill in response to Iraq's denial of UN inspectors. This bill emphasized the change of the Iraqi regime in order to return Iraq to the international family, and according to it, the US government provided financial assistance to exile groups outside Iraq. Soon after that, the three-day Desert Fox operation was carried out, during which Saddam's weapons production factories were destroyed. While Pentagon strategists were planning ground attacks on Iraq, some American analysts believed that external pressure would be sufficient to trigger an insurgency to oust Saddam. These two opinions caused a split in the anti-Saddam decisions among Washington statesmen. But after the attacks of September 11, 2001, the internal political balance of the United States changed and made the others able to have a significant influence in the management of the American country in Washington. US President George W. Bush, in his Declaration of Unity to the Congress in 2002, mentioned the axis of evil, which he believed to be made up of the countries of Iran, Iraq, and North Korea. He also predicted that he will use force to overthrow the Iraqi government. He announced, "The Iraqi regime has followed the plan to produce nerve gas and black wood and nuclear weapons for a decade. He continued, Iraq is still trying to show his hostility to America and support terror. The Iraqi government and army were destroyed within 3 weeks of the 2003 invasion of the United States and its allies. The United States tried at least twice to kill Saddam with airstrikes, but both times the target was missed. By the beginning of April, coalition forces had occupied a large part of Iraq. The very weak resistance of the Iraqi army was either easily crushed or turned into guerrilla tactics. This situation indicated the departure of control from the Saddam Hussein. On June 13, 2004, Saddam Hussein was handed over to the Iraqi interim government to be tried and charged of war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide. During this trial, special attention was paid to his brutal activities against the Kurds of northern Iraq during the war with Iran and against the Shiites of the south during the years 1991 to 1999. He was finally hanged on December 13, 2006 at 6:07 local time. From the effects of war, it can be said that child malnutrition reached 28% in Iraq until 2007, and the reports indicated that about 60 to 70% of Iraqi children suffered from mental problems. Most Iraqis did not have access to safe drinking water. It seemed that the outbreak of cholera in northern Iraq was due to the poor quality of war. More than half of Iraqi doctors left the country between 2003 and 2006. It is said that the use of depleted uranium and white phosphorus in American weapons has caused infant malformations and widespread cancer in Fallujah. Finally, after many events, Hyder Abadi took power on August 18. ISIS, which had called itself the Islamic State at that time, killed American journalist James Foley in response to an American airstrike. Despite the American bombings and political progress in Iraq, ISIS won, consolidating its positions and sectarian differences were spreading. US President Obama announced in the summer of 2014 that he would return American troops to Iraq, but this troop would only participate in airstrikes to prevent the advance of ISIS forces and help refugees to stabilize the country's political situation. In the same year, Nouri Maliki gave in to the pressure and stepped down from power. And now let's see photos of this war. The second part of this video will be published in October, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.